Andromeda Galaxy. It is coming towards us at an alarming rate. This may sound chilling, but a recent study by scientists found that, compared to our previous predictions, this galaxy, the collision could come earlier. So, when Andromeda collides head-on with the Milky Way, what will happen? Galaxy collisions are uncommon, but every time it happens, would have a profound impact on the evolution of the universe. When two weaks meet, stars intersect each other. Attractive force slows their movement. The light released by this collision will be extremely dazzling. That is, in the depths of the universe, a few to a year later, astronomers can still observe this spectacular event, fish waves of the world. During an interstellar collision, there are basically two possible ways of evolution. The most common scenario is the two galaxies are approaching each other at a slower pace. The collision process will last for millions of years. They don't have to go head. They're more likely to intersect, interlace each other. Just slight contact. However, even the slightest touch, it also causes huge deformation. Galaxies are perturbed by attractive forces. The material inside is pulled and stretched, and violently deformed. This contact releases a tremendous amount of energy. The redistribution of matter is beyond human imagination. When two galaxies come into contact, created in the tide, this attractive force will elongate the edge of the galaxy, distort its structure. Simultaneous interstellar. Even if you disassemble it, it will also be stimulated. In the process of continuous aggregation and compression, formation of new stars and planets. So galaxy mergers don't mean destruction. Instead, it gave birth to new celestial bodies. So how do we know all this? In fact, in the history of the universe, galaxy collisions have happened countless times. And now, humanity is witnessing one of these cases. Observation equipment at the European Southern Observatory successfully recorded the direction of Aquarius, the collision of two galaxies. This scene takes place at a distance from the Earth, about 890 million light-years away. According to this collision has been going on for 40 million years. By analyzing the periphery distribution of stellar streams, scientists predict that the two galaxies will eventually merge completely. Therefore, astronomical telescopes on Earth, you don't see planets. The magnificent flame show caused by the collision, because on a cosmic scale, we're too far away, will not be directly affected by such violent events. Certainly, not all galaxy collisions are so mild. At different relative velocities, galaxies have different fates. If they move at a speed of every 200 kilometers, eventually most will merge. And if the speed reaches 600 kilometers per second, they might just cross over and not merge. However, if the collision speed exceeds 1,000 kilometers per second, the situation will become extreme. At this moment, gathering with gas clouds will cease to exist. Instead, it triggers a direct collision of stars. Trigger a chain reaction, ripped the entire galaxy to shreds. The scale of this disaster, far beyond human cognition, and in the distant future, our galaxy will eventually have such a life. Transport. When Andromeda Galaxy finally meets us, Andromeda is moving at 120 kilometers per second. Speed, approaching the galaxy. As for whether this speed will change in the future, not sure yet. These two galaxies are about the same size, so the exact shape of the final collision remains full of variables. However, scientists are still exploring. In an attempt to project possible visions of the future, previously, researchers generally believed that this collision will happen in 5 billion years. However, the latest computer simulations disprove that assumption. Scientists are even more careless. Now, finally, the collision won't last more than 4 billion years. When that day comes, the entire process will take approximately 1 billion years until 2 weeks of full integration. The glory of Andromeda will become visible to the naked eye 1 billion years earlier. Become the most conspicuous celestial object in the night sky. In 1 billion years, our solar system will live next to the Andromeda Galaxy. In addition, the final merger time of galaxies may be even earlier. But what will happen? There are still two possibilities. One of them is the gradual merger of two large galaxies. In the most likely scenario, the Milky Way and Andromeda Galaxy will gradually approach. Attractive force pulls them into long strips. Then the two will cross each other, then return under the pull of attractive forces, ultimately, completely intertwined, form a brand new elliptical supergalaxy. Scientists have made plans for this future behemoth. Galaxy naming, Galactic Immortal. So when this merger takes place, what will be the fate of the stars and planets? If the whole process unfolds as expected, then there won't be a massive stellar collision. The reason is that, although the number of stars inside a star is huge, but the distance between them is immense. For example, the nearest star to the Sun, Proxima Centauri, that's 4.22 light-years away. That's 277,000 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun. On such a vast spatial scale, the probability of a direct collision between stars is negligible. It's microcourse. There are still very few special cases that may arise, but it hardly affects the stability of the solar system. However, even without a large-scale collision, dramatic change is still inevitable. After galaxy merger, the birth of heart stars will reach its peak. Many of them are hot, short-lived blue and white giant stars. These giant stars burn their fuel at breakneck speed. You will reach the end of your life in a short time and return to dust in a powerful supernova explosion. An explosion of this magnitude will have a profound impact on the entire galaxy. The released shockwave could disperse interstellar gas, and these gases are precisely key materials for new stars. Once a star is born, the material is consumed in large quantities. The evolution of the galaxy as a whole is going into decline. Despite this, compared to this cosmic change, the rise and fall of the Milky Way may no longer matter. According to Western Australia, calculations of the International Center for Setting Astronomical Research, even if the Milky Way merges with Andromeda, newborn galaxies will eventually be destroyed. Well known, at the center of the galaxy, hidden within a supermassive black hole, its mass is 4 million times that of the Sun, and at the core of Andromeda, there is also such a black hole. These two black holes are the most mysterious in the universe, celestial bodies that have not yet been fully explored. The power they contain is far from the realm of superhuman understanding. When the Milky Way merges with a new galaxy, too supermassive, the collision of black holes is inevitable. At first, they will continue to disk in the interior of the new galaxy, styling until finally merged about 16 billion years later. This process will release an unimaginably attractive force. The turbulent fabric of space-time will travel at the speed of light. The gas inside the galaxy is heated to trillions of degrees Celsius at high temperature. Star matter will quickly burn out. Galaxies without material support will gradually fade, finally sank into a dead darkness. The merged black hole will swallow everything, where the light of the universe fades away. Then the Earth will not escape the fate of destruction. He will come to an end with the entire galaxy. However, from Russia, astrophysicist at the Academy of Sciences, another option is proposed. Maybe, the collision of galaxies will lead to very different outcomes. Attractive forces could pull the solar system out of the galaxy. At that time, the solar system will be accelerated by strong, attractive force fluctuations, as if being thrown out of the whirlpool of dust, galloping away like the depths of the unknown universe. In this starry sky, the bright galaxy we were once familiar with will gradually fade out of sight. In its place will be endless darkness. However, even so, the magnetosphere of the Sun may still protect the planet to some extent from interstellar radiation attack. But this barrier, is it enough to shelter life on Earth? Galaxy mergers will happen in 4 billion years. However, the current Earth may no longer be the real threat to the Earth's survival. It's not that distant galaxies collide, but the Sun is close at hand. In the next 11 to 2 billion years, the temperature of the Sun will gradually rise. He will become even hotter than he is now, bigger than. The Earth's water resources will evaporate completely. The oceans will disappear. Maybe by then, humans have found the freedom from water dependency, way to survive. But that doesn't mean the end of the disaster. In 1 billion years, the temperature of the Earth's surface will rise too, enough to melt metal. There are still humans alive in Joe. They will undoubtedly face an incredibly difficult survival, and if other creatures manage to survive, perhaps it will witness the Milky Way and the spectacular collision of the Andromeda Galaxy. However, no matter what, the Sun will eventually die. And finally, announce the end of the Earth. The Sun's evolution is irreversible. When he reached 12 billion years of age, the core hydrogen fuel will be completely exhausted. The Sun will expand rapidly into a giant star. In the process, the Earth's atmosphere will be collapsed by the glass Earth. Most of the material will be ejected into space. And what remains? Under the blazing starlight, into a sea of boiling magma. At the same time, the Sun will swallow Mercury and Venus. The volume keeps expanding. The Moon's orbit will also be different. Affected by the tides of the Earth, its structure will be torn apart, eventually turned into a ring of dust around the Earth. And even if the Earth is lucky enough not to be swallowed by the Sun, he will also become a dead and blazing star, burning alone in the blazing light of a red giant forever. This shows that whether these two massive galaxies collide with each other or pass each other by, this time is irrelevant to humans. Long before humanity faced an interstellar collision, we had to leave this ancient Jupiter, embark on a journey to find a new home.